Hundreds of inventions of all of our great scientists, they came out of what? Necessity. Black Wall Street is no different. Black Wall Street grew out of a necessity for black people to create their own because white folks would not allow you participation. Well, guess what? The rule doesn't change. If this continues, we will be forced to create our own Black Wall Streets once again out of necessity. But of course, there's still a problem. And the problem is what? Why can't we want it even if there's no corona pandemic? Why can't we want it even if there is no desegregation? And the reason we don't want it just because it's the right thing is because black people don't have enough collective self-love to do what's right just because it's right. See, the reason you feed your child, the reason you clothe your child, the reason you shelter your child is because you love them. You don't wait for your child to get sick before you feed them. You don't wait for your child to grow naked before you get them some clothes. You don't wait for your child to be homeless before you give them shelter. You do it because you love them. Love is the mother of prevention. Let me say it again. Love is the mother of prevention. When you love something, you do things to prevent harm and abuse against it. For example, we have a lot of black men whose self-esteem is tied up in their automobiles, right? Their self-esteem is tied up in their Mercedes or their BMW, or their Cadillac truck. Their self-esteem is tied up into a material asset, which is to say they don't have any self-esteem. But for the sake of conversation, because they love that car more than anything else in their life, they're going to wash that car 2 or 3 times a day. Okay, they're going to get that car cleaned out. They're going to get the maintenance done on that car. The maintenance is only needed once every 3 months. Well, guess what? They're going to get the maintenance done on their car every 3 weeks. You know why? Because they love the car. Love is the mother of prevention. The reason why black people are always reacting to racism. If you notice, all we do is react to racism. They kill Michael Brown. We react. Okay? They kill Sandra Bland. We react. They drop the coronavirus on us. We react. Okay? They shoot down the civil rights laws. We react. They change the voting provisions. We react. Why are black people always reacting to racism? Why are we
muted,
proactive? Why
unmuted,
prepare? Why don't we ever prevent? Because in order to be proactive, in order to prepare, in order to prevent, there must be love. When you don't have love, you are cursed to forever be a reactionary because you only respond to what's being done to you. Make no mistake. Make no mistake. We don't respond to racism because we love black people. We respond to racism because it makes us inconvenient.
Word. And with that, we're going to the first caller on the line. Again, you guys are listening to the KingYa Speaks radio show, and I'm your host, KingYa. And joining us today is Dr. Umar Johnson, and he is we are talking about political and economic empowerment, and he's giving you guys some public service announcements regarding upcoming events that he's got going on, and we'll be back with him, and he can give you guys that information again in just a few moments. So thank you for tuning in to the show. You can follow us on YouTube, KingYa, KingYa. We are live streaming right now on YouTube as well. And we are going to our first caller on the line for your question or comment. Your phone line is open. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from. Area code 312. Question or comment for Dr. Umar Johnson? All right, we're going to the next caller. Good morning. Welcome to the show. Do you have a question or comment for Dr. Umar Johnson? Question or comment for Dr. Umar Johnson? Dr. Umar, how's my audio? Are you able to hear me okay?
Say that again, brother. You just broke up a little bit there.
Okay, just want to make sure you're able to hear me okay. Question or comment for Dr. Umar Johnson? We are coming to the phone lines. Question or comment? Do you have a question or comment for Dr. Umar Johnson?
You might want to remind them of the instructions if they want to ask a question, because you may have some people who hit the button to ask a question, but they don't have a question. So you might just want to let them know what the control options are.
Sure. Press *61 if you have a question or a comment for Dr. Umar Johnson. The phone lines, I'm coming to the phone lines. Question or comment for Dr. Umar Johnson, *61. All right, I see you. All right, question or comment for Dr. Umar Johnson?
Yes, thank you, KingYa. We appreciate you and Dr. Umar Johnson, and for this lovely show that you're having, very informative show that you're having. Dr. Umar,
yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much for the work that you do on behalf of melanated people. I was introduced to this show this morning from KingYa, who called into our platform as well on blogtalkradio.com, The Female Solution. Higher Learning with Zelda Speaks on Monday Morning Mindfulness. And when he mentioned that you would be on the show this morning, I'm thinking to myself, this is a show that I do not want to miss. Usually after my show, I'm doing post-production from the show, but I was like, I'm going to have to be a little late this morning because everything you say is right on target. I am a woman of a certain age. I grew up in the South with a family on a farm, and we had pigs and goats and kittens, and we plowed the fields and things of that nature. And all of what you are saying is in direct relation to what we now don't have in the melanated community, because we have not passed those stories down. Not everyone, but many of us. I used to point at the children and blame the children, and then one day I recognized myself. I said, who in my family have I shared the trials and tribulations and the growth that we have had since we moved north in this new era of living? And I was almost embarrassed. I was embarrassed to think that as much as I think I know, I'm not sharing the little bit that I do know. So I commend you on the work that you are doing, especially with the homeschooling, because this coronavirus is really a blessing in disguise, and we can't see that. No, we cannot run into the nail salon and get our hair done. We got to do our own hair. That was one of the things that we talked about on this morning show, was that the sister who was on, Marsha Noble, talked about, I commended her for not coloring her gray when she became a woman of a certain age. And who would have thought in this day and time that gray hair would be as popular as it is? Who would have thought that the times that we are living in are not natural times? They're unnatural because of the way that we have learned to live in this Western society, and we have forgotten our roots. We've forgotten who we are. So thank you, Dr. Omar and Dr. Umar and KingYa for having this show and for sharing this information. And please continue with the wonderful work that you do. And we would love to have you on the Female Solution radio podcast. So I will be contacting KingYa and get your information, and I'm just going to be quiet so we can hear more of all the glory that you have to share with us.
Thank you. What's your name, sister?
Zelda Speaks.
Got it. Thank
you. Sister Zelda, what you can do if you have a pen right now is I'll give you my cell number, and you can text message me. And anyone else out there who has a radio show that is a Dr. Umar supporter. I don't do interviews with people who are not Dr. Umar supporters. At this point in my life, I'm really reducing my activity only to those who appreciate what I do and the work that needs to be done. You can text me at 215-989-9858, 215-989-9858. I just ask that for those who will be reaching out to schedule radio interviews that you please make a donation to the FDMG Academy. Doesn't matter how small or large, just get on your Cash App and use $FDMG School, because when you reach out for the interview, I'm going to ask you if you've made a donation. If you haven't, we won't be able to schedule until you do. So please do. If you need to mail in a donation, you can text message me for that information as well. Also, just want to let people know I do not do social network interviews. It must be an internet-based platform or a broadcast-based platform. I'm not interested in Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram interviews. It must be radio.
Amen. And that was a Cash App, $S is in Sam, D is in David,
F is in Frederick.
Oh,
F is in Frederick, D is in Douglas, M is in Marcus, G is in Garvey. $ FDMG school. And my cell number, and I'll give it twice, is 215-989-9858. 215-989-9858. Also, anyone if you want to be part of the homeschool network, Dr. Umar's homeschool network, you can text message me as well for that.
Thank you so very much. So expect a donation today from the Higher Learning Network.
Thank you, Queen Mother.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Velda. All right, we're going to the next caller for a question or comment for Dr. Umar Johnson. Let's keep it brief. And we are going to Sister Santi, and then we're going to Sister Vieta. Sister Santi, question or comment for our brother? Thank you so much for your patience.
Yes, Dr. Umar, we don't support each other. I can open up a candy store just right there in the neighborhood, and we still go other places instead of coming to me because you feel as though my prices might be a little higher or it's not convenient enough. How can we stop that to where we could patronize each other and not necessarily rob each other?
Great question, Queen. Here's the problem. We are socialized to imitate European consciousness. In many respects, Black Americans are the ghosts. African Americans are the ghosts of European Americans. We are their shadows, literally and proverbially. The way that they think about Black people is exactly how we think about Black people. And the way that came to be is through socialization and indoctrination through public education. Until we eliminate socialization and indoctrination through public education, it is going to be almost impossible for us to re-Africanize the Negro psyche. You cannot re-Africanize the Negro psyche as long as we're still giving white folks the first 10, 15 years of our children's lives and then trying to reclaim them. We cannot do that. Education and economics are the right foot and left foot of Black independence. You need them both, and you can't have one without the other. Through education, you prepare the next generation of African people, our children, our sons and our daughters, our youths. You prepare them in the art of nation building. That is the purpose. That is why we are building the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. People say, well, we got some independent schools out there. Great, and I support all of them. But this will be the first independent school whose sole occupation and interest is to teach our young men the art of nation building, not college prep, not to go to work for white folks, not how to worship Jesus or Muhammad, okay, which are the functions of most independent Black schools. It's either college prep, cultural nationalism, how to get a job, or to become a better Christian or Muslim, not FDMG. This is about nation building for the Black family. That's what we're teaching. And we have to educate the children. We have to be taught. Let's be clear. We were taught how to hate. We were taught it. We were taught how to support white folks. This was not an accident. This was deliberately designed. This was intentional. We were taught it. So if we want to teach Black children to support Black businesses, we have to be deliberate in that. If we want to teach Black men to be loyal to Black women, we have to be deliberate in that. For example, I'm coming across a whole bunch of young Black mothers under 40 who are telling me that their religious beliefs, I want y'all to hear this, with all these Black women complaining about not having good Black men and there not being enough brothers available, and so many Black men dating outside the community, well, guess what? I'm coming across young Black mothers who are telling me, Dr. Umar, I agree with your position that we should not be dating outside of our race, but I cannot tell my son that because it goes against my teachings as a Christian or a Muslim. This is what they tell me. So your religion is more important than the survival of your community. You know that you should be teaching your son to only date within his race. You know that's the best thing to do. But because of your religious indoctrination, you don't feel comfortable doing it. Somebody made you feel bad about putting African people first, and that's one of the greatest evils of religion. And I want to be clear. I'm not against the church. I'm not against the mosque. The Honorable Marcus Garvey was a Christian. El Hajj Malik El Shabazz, Malcolm X was a Muslim. I don't have a problem with the religions, but I do take issue with the way that some religious leaders evangelize their faith in such a way that it becomes the enemy of all black people.